and must enrich and grow such assets through further reform and opening up. First, we must see the party exercise its leadership over all work and keeps enhancing and improving its way of leadership. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, leadership of the Communist Party of China is the most essential attribute of socialism with Chinese characteristics and the greatest strength of this system. The party exercises overall leadership over all areas of endeavor in every part of the country. It is by upholding the centralized, unified leadership of the party that we have been able to achieve the historic transformation, ushering a new era of reform and opening up, and embark on a new journey of great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, that we have been able to rise above major risks and challenges and overcome numerous difficulties, that we have been able to respond to change, sail through turbulence, withstand the impact of the severe floods, the SARS epidemic, and devastating earthquakes, and tackle international financial crises, that we have neither retraced our steps to the rigidity and isolation of the past, nor taken the wrong turn by changing our nature and abandoning our system. And we have been able to stay committed to the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics. To ensure leadership by the party, we must keep improving the way it governs to better adapt to the requirement of the practice, the time, and the people. On the question of ensuring leadership by the party, a fundamental principle that bears on the future of the party and the country, all party members and people must maintain a high degree of self-consciousness in terms of thinking, political orientation, and actions. There should be no hesitation or wavering in any way. On our way forward, we must become deeply conscious of the need to maintain political integrity, think in big picture terms, follow the leadership cord, and keep in alignment. We must strengthen confidence in the path, theory, system, and culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics. We must resolutely uphold the authority of the Party Central Committee and decentralized unified leadership, and see that leadership by the party is exercised and embodied in all our work relating to reform, development, and stability. No success of reform and opening up comes easily. In the years to come, risks and challenges of all sorts are inevitable. There may even be unforeseen dangers. The party must guide the overall situation and coordinate the work of all sides, remain committed to practicing scientific, democratic, and law-based governance, improve the way the party exercises leadership and governance, improve the party's ability to govern and lead, strengthen the party's ability and the resolve to chart our course, craft overall plans, design policy, and promote reform, and see that China's ship of reform and opening up will break waves and sail on the right course. Second, we must adhere to the people-oriented approach and keep delivering on the aspirations of the people for a better life. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, seeking happiness for the Chinese people and striving for rejuvenation of the Chinese nation is the founding aspiration and mission of the Communist Party of China, and those of our reform and opening up endeavor. The Communist Party of China comes from the people, has its roots among the people, and is dedicated to serving the people. Serving the public good wholeheartedly is a fundamental purpose and principle of the party, and everything we do must be in the fundamental interest of all our people. In considering and introducing a policy, we must first and foremost ensure the backing, approval, and endorsement of the people. We must act in line with our people's aspirations, respect their views and ideas, care about their worries and concerns, and commit to improving their livelihood. As we lead the people on our way forward, we need to adopt and implement the right theory, guideline, and policy, and at the same time draw strength from the practice, creativity, and development aspirations of our people. We must see that our people share the fruits of reform and opening up, and are highly motivated to contribute to reform, opening up, and socialist modernization. On our way forward, the aspirations of the people for a better life must always be the focus of our efforts. We must observe the party's fundamental purpose, put into practice the party's mass line, and respect the principal status of the people. We must respect the wishes they express, the best practices they create, the rights they are entitled to, and the role they play. And we must fully stimulate and unlock their creativity. We must improve our democratic institutions, establish more democratic channels, diversify our forms of democracy, and strengthen the rule of law and the legal safeguards, so that our people can truly and fully enjoy a broad range of democratic rights that are tangible, meaningful, and practical as prescribed by law. We must take targeted measures to address the most urgent needs and immediate expectations of the people. We must see that what has been achieved in economic, political, cultural, social, and ecological fields are shared among all our people, and that they have a stronger sense of fulfillment, greater happiness, and feel safer and more secure in a more direct and tangible manner. We should promote all-round development of the people and strive for prosperity for all. Third, we must uphold Marxism as our guiding ideology and explore theoretical innovations based on practice. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, innovation is the lifeline of reform and opening up. Just as there are no bounds to practice, there is no end to freeing the minds. Friedrich Engels says that the final causes of all social changes and the political revolutions are to be sought not in men's brains, not in men's better insight into eternal truth and justice, but in changes in the modes of production and exchange. We must base the party's theory on reality and answer the questions of our times and of the people in a timely manner. We must expel any dark cloud or misunderstanding that may hinder or constrain our thinking and action. We must update and popularize Marxism in the context of a modern-day China and make new breakthroughs in developing Marxism. On our way forward, we must firmly follow the guidance of Marxism, Leninism, Mao Zedong thought, Deng Xiaoping theory, the theory of 3 represents, and the scientific outlook on development, and the thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. We must remain committed to both freeing the minds and seeking truth from facts. We Chinese communists are duty-bound to develop Marxism in the 21st century and adapt it to the Chinese context. This is our historic mission. We must enhance our awareness of the problems, keep abreast with the times, and have a strategic thinking. We must acquire a keen understanding of the nature and intrinsic connections of any development from a deeper historical and broader global perspective, and follow closely the creative practice of hundreds of millions of the Chinese people. We must draw on the achievements of all fine cultures and civilizations in the world, keep answering new and important questions of our times and in our practice, and see that the truth of Marxism developed in the context of contemporary China shine with more brilliance. Fourth, we must stay on the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and uphold and develop socialism with Chinese features. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, the direction determines the future. and the path determines the destiny. To keep our destiny in our own hands, we must remain true and committed to our original aspirations and chosen path. All the theories and practice of our party in the past 40 years of reform and opening up are based on one and same theme: upholding and advancing socialism with Chinese characteristics. There is no textbook of golden rules to follow for reform and development in China, a country with over 5,000 years of civilization and more than 1.3 billion people. No one is in a position to dictate to the Chinese people what should or should not be done. Chinese writer Lu Xun once wrote, "What is a road? A road is made when many people trod the earth through thistles and thorns." Socialism with Chinese characteristics provides a broad pathway for China to advance with the times and steer the course of development today. We must therefore stay the course. On our way forward, we must continue to follow the thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era and the guiding principles of the party's 19th National Congress, enhance our confidence in the path, theory, system, and culture of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and keep to the right direction of reform and opening up. What to reform and how to go about the reform must be consistent with the overarching goal of improving and developing the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics and modernizing China's system and capacity for governance. We will resolutely reform what should and can be reformed, and make no change where there should and cannot be any reform. We must stick to the party's basic line and remain committed to the central task of economic development and the two basic points of adhering to the four cardinal principles and upholding reform and opening up in the great undertaking of building socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. This is our abiding and unwavering commitment.
Fifth, we must improve and develop the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics to harness and enhance the advantages of our system. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, the system is of fundamental and overarching significance for the long-term stability and development of all endeavors of the party and the country. We have worked persistently to improve and develop the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics. This has bolstered our efforts to unlock and develop social productivity, unleash and increase social vitality, and preserve the vigor of the party and the country. This has underpinned social stability, public well-being, and national security. And this has fostered vibrant institutions and mechanisms that enable labor, knowledge, technology, managerial expertise, and capital to play their full part in invigorating the market and open up all sources of social wealth. On our way forward, we must unswervingly consolidate and develop the public sector and unswervingly encourage, support, and guide the development of the non-public sector. We must give full play to the decisive role of the market in resource allocation, better leverage the role of the government, and stimulate the vitality of various market entities. We must ensure the unity of party leadership, the running of the country by the people, and law-based governance, and uphold and improve the system of people's congresses, the system of multi-party cooperation and political consultation under the leadership of the Communist Party of China, the system of regional ethnic autonomy, and the system of community-level self-governance. We must advance law-based governance on all fronts, consolidate and develop the broadest possible patriotic united front, and promote people's democracy to provide systemic and institutional guarantees to ensure that our people run the country. We must strengthen institution building in the cultural field to stick to our ideals, rally public support, cultivate talent worthy of the times, reinvigorate our culture, and raise China's international profile. We must actively cultivate and preserve the core socialist values, promote the creative evolution and development of the fine traditional Chinese culture, ensure that our revolutionary culture remain alive and strong, and develop an advanced culture in an effort to foster a Chinese culture that shines in our times and shines in the world. We must strengthen institution building on social governance to promote social fairness and justice and to maintain law and order. We must enhance institution building on ecological conservation and implement the strictest possible systems for environmental protection. We must get rid of all institutional ailments and blockades of vested interests that impede development, and step up the building of a set of institutions that are well conceived, procedure-based, and efficiently functioning to secure a more mature and established system of socialism with Chinese characteristics. 6. We must continue to take development as the top priority and enhance our composite national strength. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, unlocking and developing social productivity and increasing the composite strength of socialist countries is an essential requirement and a fundamental task of socialism. We must keep to the central task of economic development, adhere to the strategic thinking that development is the absolute principle and that the development we pursue must be sound and of high quality, and strive for sustained and healthy economic and social progress. Only by doing so can we boost our economic and technological strength, defense capabilities, and composite national strength in all respects, and lay a solid material foundation for upholding and developing socialism with Chinese characteristics, and for achieving the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. On our way forward, we must continue to focus on tackling the principal contradiction in our society, which is the contradiction between unbalanced and inadequate development and the people's ever-growing needs for a better life. We must fully apply the vision of innovative, coordinated, green and open development for all, advance the 5-sphere integrated plan in a holistic way, and pursue the 4-pronged comprehensive strategy with coordinated efforts. We must promote high-quality development, strive for parallel progress in new industrialization, IT application, urbanization, and agricultural modernization, speed up the building of a modernized economy, and work toward higher quality development of greater efficiency, greater fairness, and greater sustainability. Centering around the supply-side structural reform as the overarching task, we must actively shift our growth model, upgrade our economic structure, foster new growth drivers, and stimulate domestic demand. We must implement the coordinated regional development strategy and the rural vitalization strategy, and take resolute steps to meet the 3 tough challenges, namely forestalling and diffusing major risks, carrying out targeted poverty alleviation, and preventing and controlling pollution, guided by the principle that innovation is a primary driver for development and that talent is our most important resource. We must implement the innovation-driven development strategy, improve our national innovation system, and accelerate homegrown innovation in key and critical technologies to foster new engines for economic growth and social progress. We must enhance ecological conservation, keep to the thinking that a good environment is a most valuable asset, and follow a greener model of development and way of life so that our great motherland will become more beautiful and our people will live in a better environment of blue skies, green mountains, and clear waters. Seventh, we must stay committed to reform and opening up, and promote joint efforts to build a community with a shared future for mankind. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, openness brings progress, while seclusion leads to backwardness. China cannot develop itself in isolation of the world, while the world also needs China for global prosperity. Bearing in mind China's internal and international imperatives, we have stayed committed to the fundamental national policy of opening up, followed a proactive approach to opening up, and entered a new stage of comprehensive, multi-level and wide-ranging opening up, thus creating a sound international environment and broader development space for China. On our way forward, we must hold high the banner of peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit, uphold our fundamental foreign policy goal of maintaining world peace and promoting common development, and work to forge a new form of international relations featuring mutual respect, fairness, justice, and win-win cooperation. We must respect the right of the people of all countries to choose their own development path, uphold international fairness and justice, advocate greater democracy in international relations, and oppose the practices of imposing one's will upon others, interfering in others' internal affairs, or the strong bullying the weak. We must continue to play our role as a responsible major country, support the development of other developing countries, take an active part in reforming and developing the global governance system, and work with all other countries for an open, inclusive, clean, and beautiful world that enjoys lasting peace, universal security, and common prosperity. We must support an open, transparent, inclusive, and non-discriminatory multilateral trading system, promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and make economic globalization more open, inclusive, balanced, and beneficial to all. Focusing on jointly undertaking the Belt and Road Initiative, we must work with all parties concerned to develop a new platform for international cooperation and lend new impetus to shared progress in the world. China will never pursue its development at the cost of others' interests, nor will China ever give up its own legitimate rights and interests. China pursues a national defense policy that is defensive in nature, and China's development poses no threat to any country. No matter what stage of development it reaches, China will never seek hegemony. Eighth, we must exercise full and rigorous governance over the party to continuously enhance the party's ability to innovate, the power to unite, and the energy to fight. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, it takes a good blacksmith to make good steel. The key to running China's affairs well lies in the party, in its commitment to self-supervision and rigorous self-governance in all respects. In the course of leading the great undertaking of reform and opening up and socialist modernization, our party must unswervingly pursue self-revolution and have the courage to rid itself of any virus that erodes its health, so that the party will continuously purify, improve, and reform itself, and have a stronger capability to lead politically, guide through theory, organize the people, and inspire society. Only in this way can the party always maintain its close ties with the people. On our way forward, we must follow the general requirements for party building in the new era, take enhancing the party's political building as the overarching task, and continuously advance the great new project of party building. We must continue to enhance party unity and creativity, strengthen its ability for governance, and make the party stronger and more efficient. We must reflect upon ourselves in light of the requirement of the times, stay keenly aware of potential dangers, and strengthen and improve ourselves with the spirit of reform and innovation. We must enhance our capabilities in the course of tackling risks and challenges, stay pure through resolving the acute problems within the party, and upgrade the ability for party supervision and governance. We must select officials on the basis of both integrity and ability, with priority given to the former, and based on their merits, focusing on cultivating high-caliber officials with loyalty, integrity, and a keen sense of responsibility, as well as a large talent pool. We must have the resolve and tenacity to persevere in the never-ending fight against corruption, tackle corruption in both its symptoms and root causes, and hold all corrupt officials accountable. We must work hard to ensure that officials are honest, the government is clean, and political affairs are handled with integrity to foster a clean and corruption-free political environment for our continued efforts of reform and opening up. Ninth, we must maintain the worldview and methodology of dialectical and historical materialism to strike a balance between reform, development, and stability. As the reform and opening up in the past 4 decades has shown, a major country like China cannot afford any disruptive mistake on fundamental issues. We have both upheld party leadership and respected the pioneering drive of our people. We have crossed the river by feeling for the stones, and at the same time strengthened top-level planning. We have been focused on both solving problems and getting results. And we have both pursued pilot programs and rolled them out nationwide in due course, thus incentivizing bold and pioneering endeavors while keeping to a realistic and earnest approach. This has enabled our reform and opening up to come such a long way. On our way forward, we must adopt a strategic perspective, develop a dialectical approach to thinking and creative thinking, think in terms of the rule of law, and think about worst-case scenarios. We must bear in mind the big picture, strengthen top-level planning, and stay focused on tackling the major problems in China's development. We must conduct in-depth research, encourage local authorities to make bold explorations, and keep the reform-related decision-making in line with legislative moves to make the decision-making on reform sounder. We must show full tenacity and persistence to see all major reform measures through. We must be bold and enterprising and take a proactive yet prudent approach with prompt yet steady steps to pursue reform, development, and stability simultaneously. We must keep to the right direction, stay on the right path, and forge ahead with undiminished intensity in pursuit of greater progress in the reform and opening up in the new era.